VonAllen Sports.
During that, someone asked me, did Kobe win any without Shaq? Yes, Kobe won 2 without Shaq. So Shaq won 1 without Kobe, but Shaq had Dwayne Wade as well. The only thing I mean by that is to win, you can't do everything by yourself. And everyone keeps saying this, and it's not the case. Everybody needs somebody. You've got to have teammates, and it helps to have coaches. Now, basketball is different than NFL. I don't think coaching in basketball is as essential as it is in football, but you do need those things, and nobody's alone, no matter who they are. Michael Jordan was not alone. He had a lot of good players on his team, including one of the top 50 greatest players of all time in Scottie Pippen. You got to have that one other guy, at least that one other guy. LeBron is a different thing. He jumps around. He just goes where a super team can be created. It's very strange to me. I always felt that the real great ones make their mark and do for the team that they're there for, and you change who your team is, you change what they are. And then if you want to leave later on, that's fine. You're later in your career, whatever. Like Jordan went to the Wizards and stuff, but that don't count against them. I mean, he did what he was drafted for. He made the Bulls champions, and Kobe's the same way. Kobe was the Lakers didn't draft Kobe, but they might as well have, okay? So the Charlotte Hornets drafted Kobe, but they traded him immediately to the Lakers. But the Lakers is the team that he went to. The Lakers is the team that he's supposed to make something of them. And he did. I think that's to be commended a lot more than just bouncing around looking for championships, If he could have gotten Cleveland Cavaliers a championship without leaving the first time, that would look way better. But he went to Miami, then he came back to Cleveland, and after another super team had been formed there, but he screwed them in the process. So it's just, I don't know, it seems very shady to me, very strange, but basketball is also different as far as the way I judge them, because like in the NFL, winning a Super Bowl is so ridiculously difficult, and people just don't understand, man. It's just so many things have to go right. In the NFL, the playoffs is one game. One mistake costs you everything. That whole season, the whole year, all that work, all those games that you won, and it's all ruined because of one. It could be ruined by one incident, one small play. But in hockey and basketball and baseball, you get a mulligan. You get a chance to fix that screw up. It's just. How many teams in the NBA lost game 1, and come back and win? It's like you get to fix what you. Imagine if the Patriots got to play the Giants 2 out of 3 times, or the Eagles, or anything. I mean, they'd be 10-0 right now. Come on, if they were able to play multiple games. Well, I'm sorry, actually, that's not true. You get my point. I say when they hit their stride and they became the great Patriots that we know, the only one I would say that they probably don't win in a series was probably 0-1. So I don't think that they would beat Kurt Warner's Rams multiple times. Even Belichick would probably admit that. He's like, they had the perfect storm, the perfect game plan, and it had to work that day. You give Kurt and those guys time to understand what you're about. Oh, okay, we know how you're going to play us now. All of a sudden, the greatest show on turf shows up. So maybe, and I'm saying maybe that one you don't get the win there, but the other ones, Carolina, that Super Bowl shouldn't even have been as close as it was. That was because the defense completely shit themselves in the second half, in the fourth quarter. But it didn't help. Tom threw a pick too. That didn't help. But third one, that 0-4 Patriots team, those guys were just awesome. And give them a bunch of shots at Philly. So give them several shots at the Giants in 2007. So you see what I mean? It's different. But when you judge other sports, you got to look at it for what it is. Like with tennis, okay? So I don't know if any of you guys like tennis at all, but I've mentioned tennis because I'm passionate about tennis. But with tennis, you judge by quality of opponents also. It's not just Grand Slam. You've got era that is important. Then you've got quality of opponents, who they constantly play. Then you've got weeks at number one. How long were they dominant for? How many tournaments did they win? Even the smaller tournaments, you want to count those. All those matter. So it's not as cut and dry like in other sports. So each sport has its own version of what matters, and you've got to weigh those things differently. But I'll tell you one thing that always stays the same. And that is how you measure up against your peers. So no matter what sport it is, if you were to compare the previous generation to the current one, you can't do it with numbers. You can't do it with stats because athletes are getting stronger, faster, quicker, all that, because also with technology and nutrition and all that. So you can't go by that. It's not really fair, and rule changes as well. But the one thing you can go by is just measure their ranking against their own, because everybody was on the same playing field. So if you won a Super Bowl in the 70s, you won a Super Bowl now, winning is winning. Because you can say, oh, winning a Super Bowl now for a quarterback doesn't mean anything because now the rules, well, wait a minute. Okay, so yeah, the rules are easier for quarterbacks to throw and get yards and touchdowns and stuff. But all the other quarterbacks in the league also get that privilege. And just like in the 70s, okay, that quarterback, you say, oh, he's better because he got hit and lit up. Well, so did all the other quarterbacks that he played against. His own team's defense got the privilege of getting to knock the shit out of the opposing quarterback. So that's an advantage for him as well. So you can't cross them like that as far as bulk numbers. You've got to go based on ranking. You do that, and that will never fail you in any sport you have. Oh, nice. Justin, oh, thanks, man. He just sent a $10 super chat after he got off the phone. He said, Bill Russell was absolutely dominant and deserves to be part of the conversation, but Bird took a bunch of rejects, turned them into all-stars and Hall of Famers, and gets forgotten. The only argument I'd have against Bill Russell is it would be like I just said about the tennis conversation, lack of competition. So the league there wasn't enough people, there wasn't enough in it. It's not at the level that it was when Bird was playing or Jordan and those guys. So that would be the only argument I'd say against Bill Russell. If it was the NFL, then maybe it's a different conversation. But actually maybe not, because nobody thinks that Otto Graham's 7 championships is as impressive as Brady's 7 Super Bowls, right? So nobody thinks that unless you're Joe Montana. Unless you're Joe Montana, you don't really think that's the same. So, but if you're Joe Montana, you think that Otto Graham has like 14 championships. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate it, man. And great conversation with you.
Charlie Sorlin served 50 years for murder.
What would you do if we were to grant you a conditional parole today?
The guy was stupid. I mean, that's why he got caught. I could do it even better.
But his redemption comes with unwanted admiration, a copycat praise.
He admires me for all the wrong things I've done.
As detectives hired Charlie to catch his own emulator.
Then what exactly do you need?
Every time I'm here, you're up in here watching something about serial killers.
Another body found early this morning.
We got witnesses who saw you there.
So he did the profile, huh? On me.
How sure are you that he's the one?
I'm coming for you myself, without a badge.
Emulator.
VonAllen Sports.